Ever get a piece of advice and you're just like, whoa, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, we've all been there.
It's like, should have trusted my gut. Bad advice.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what today's deep dive is all about. What happens when bad advice meets unchecked power? Kingdoms, rebellion, a leadership lesson for the ages, all packed into 2 Chronicles chapters 10 through 12.
It's one of those stories that feels surprisingly relevant, even thousands of years later.
Right. We're diving into the story of King Rehoboam, son of the famous King Solomon. You've probably at least heard of Solomon, known for his wisdom.
Right.
But when Solomon dies and Rehoboam gets ready to take over, well, let's just say things don't exactly go smoothly.
There's a lot of anticipation in the air, but also this underlying tension. Because you see, Solomon, for all his wisdom, had placed some pretty heavy burdens on the Israelites.
Yeah.
Forced labor, high taxes, you name it.
Oh, I see. So the people are already feeling the pressure even before Rehoboam steps into the picture.
Yeah, it's like a powder keg just waiting for a spark. And that fuse is lit when Rehoboam travels to Shechem, where all of Israel has gathered to make it official.
So big moment for the new guy. All eyes are on him.
Huge moment. And to make things even more interesting, a potential rival by the name of Jeroboam, he comes back from exile,
Oh.
sensing an opportunity in all this political drama.
I bet he does. When there's chaos, there's opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jeroboam, along with representatives from all the tribes, they approach Rehoboam with a proposition.
Okay.
Remember all those burdens Solomon put on the people?
Right.
They basically ask Rehoboam to lighten the load a bit.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a pretty reasonable ask. Hey, your dad was a bit much. How about you ease up and we'll all be good?
On the surface, absolutely. And for Rehoboam, this is a defining moment. He could choose compassion, secure the people's loyalty, start his reign off with a clean slate.
Or he could totally fumble.
Yeah.
And knowing this story, I'm thinking he doesn't exactly stick the landing.
He does not.
Yeah.
Now, to his credit, he does take some time to think it over. First, he consults with the elders, those seasoned advisors who had served his father, and their advice. Listen to the people. Show a little humility. Choose kindness. This is how you win over the masses, they tell him.
It's like they're handing him the keys to the kingdom on a silver platter.
Right.
Do this, you'll be golden.
You'd think he'd take notes. But then Rehoboam does something that has puzzled scholars and, frankly, anyone with common sense for centuries.
Uh-oh.
He ignores all that wisdom and turns to his buddies instead.
Oh, no, you know what's coming, right? The yes men.
Yeah.
The hype squad, the crew that tells you exactly what you want to hear, even if it's a terrible, terrible idea.
Exactly. And they don't disappoint. Show him who's boss, they tell him.
Oh, no.
Flex that royal muscle.
You've got to be kidding me. He actually listens to these guys.
He does. Rehoboam goes back to the people. And get this, he tells them, you thought my dad was tough. Hold my grape juice, because my little finger is thicker than my father's waist.
Oh, he actually said that out loud. Wow, okay. I can already tell this isn't going to end well.
This, my friend, is a textbook case of choosing validation from your peers over wisdom from experience.
Yeah.
And it's a trap that, let's be honest, still snares leaders today. From boardrooms to political arenas, you name it.
So, to be clear, Rehoboam basically told the people my way or the highway.
Pretty much.
I can't imagine that went over well.
It did not.
Right.
The people, they're furious. They came hoping for change, for a leader who would at least listen to their struggles, and instead they get arrogance and a heavy dose of, my dad could beat up your dad.
So you have these people, they're already on edge.
Right.
They're burdened, they're feeling unheard, and their new king, in his infinite wisdom, decides the best course of action is threats.
Yeah.
Boasting.
It's like pouring gasoline on bonfire.
Okay, I think I know what happens next,
Yeah.
but for those who haven't brushed up on their ancient Israelite history lately, what happens when a king tells his people, my little finger is thicker than my father's waist?
Well, in this case, they basically tell him where he can stick that little finger.
Ouch.
10 of the 12 tribes of Israel, they're done. They say, enough is enough.
Yeah.
We're out. And they use this really cutting phrase. They say, what share do we have in David? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse.
Wow, so when you put it like that, it's more than just some political split.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, we're done with this whole family legacy, we're out.
It's a fundamental break from this lineage of David, which held immense, religious and cultural significance for them.
Yeah.
The kingdom that was once united under David is now fractured.
Talk about a fall from grace.
Yeah.
One minute you're about to be crowned king of a powerful nation. The next minute you're the unpopular kid at the lunch table.
Right.
Just left with a couple friends.
And a whole lot of regret, I imagine.
I bet. So Rehoboam's little finger speech, it didn't really have the effect he was hoping for.
No.
I'm guessing this is the part where he has a serious what have I done moment.
You would think, right. But to be fair to Rehoboam, it's not all downhill from here.
Okay.
He faces, internal struggles,
Right.
constant threats from surrounding kingdoms,
Okay.
but he also shows a surprising amount of resilience.
Okay.
He strengthens defenses, he fortifies cities,
Okay.
he tries to bring stability back to Judah.
So a glimmer of hope.
Right.
He's not just, sitting around crying about losing half his kingdom.
Yeah.
He's at least trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Exactly. And that's what makes this part of Rehoboam's story so fascinating.
Yeah.
He's a study in contradictions. He makes this colossal mistake early on, driven by pride and bad advice.
Right.
But then he also demonstrates these moments of strategic thinking and leadership.
It's almost like he has all the right tools, but he doesn't quite know how to use them.
Maybe missed the Leadership 101 class on humility and listening to good advice.
Maybe he did, yeah. Because it seems like despite his efforts to strengthen Judah, he's missing a really crucial element.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's that he never fully internalizes the lessons of his early failure.
Oh, no. Here we go again.
Yep.
What happens? Does he have another, little finger incident?
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
It's more like he's repeating these past patterns, but, on a different scale.
Okay.
Remember, the elders advised him to turn to God, to follow the law. Rehoboam and the people of Judah kind of allow themselves to drift from those principles.
And when you stray from the path, sometimes you end up in some pretty treacherous territory.
Oh, yeah.
What are the consequences this time?
Remember Shishak, the king of Egypt?
Yeah, vaguely.
He sees an opportunity in Judah's, shall we say, weakened spiritual state
Oh.
and decides to capitalize on it.
Wait, so even with all the fortifications, all the preparations Rehoboam made,
Yeah.
they're still vulnerable.
It seems that way, you see, because true strength, it's not just about physical walls and armies.
Right.
It's about the spiritual foundation of a nation. It's about their commitment to righteousness, to justice.
Right.
And in those areas, Judah has become complacent.
It's like that saying, a house divided against itself cannot stand.
Right.
But in this case, it's a kingdom divided, and it seems like even the best fortifications can't really make up for a weakened spirit.
Sadly, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Shishak, he doesn't hesitate. He launches this full-blown invasion.
Oh, wow.
Captures cities, plunders their wealth.
Oh, man.
It's a devastating blow for Rehoboam. I mean, militarily, but also symbolically.
Right.
Imagine, you see your capital city sacked, all your treasures carted off by a foreign king.
It's like adding insult to injury, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about losing land or resources. It's about, the complete collapse of everything he was trying to rebuild.
It really is a low point for Rehoboam.
Yeah.
A direct result of, his early mistakes and also his later inability to really internalize the lessons from those failures.
Okay.
But, and this is where we see, a small glimmer of hope. Rehoboam, he has one last chance, one last opportunity to change course.
Okay, I'm listening. What happens? Does he finally listen to those wise elders?
Yeah.
Does he pull himself together and rally the troops for some amazing comeback?
Well, not exactly a dramatic, comeback montage.
Okay.
But he does have this moment of, I think, profound humility.
Okay.
He acknowledges his mistakes.
Okay.
He recognizes that his leadership has faltered,
Okay.
and he turns back to God.
Almost too little too late, isn't it?
It might seem that way.
After all the destruction and the chaos.
Right. But this act of humility, it has a surprising impact.
Oh, how so?
Shishak, he had already plundered Jerusalem,
Right.
but he doesn't completely annihilate Judah. He doesn't wipe them off the map.
So Rehoboam's change of heart, it actually makes a difference.
It does.
Even at, the 12th hour.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like this powerful reminder that even when it seems like all hope is lost,
Yeah.
even when we've made, a whole series of blunders, a genuine shift in attitude,
Yeah.
recognizing that we need guidance, it can completely change the course of events.
That's a pretty powerful takeaway. I mean, it's not about, erasing our past mistakes.
Right.
It's about how we respond to those mistakes and how we allow them to shape us, hopefully for the better, right?
Precisely. And that's what makes Rehoboam's story.
Yeah.
For all its ups and downs, for all the drama, the dysfunction, it's so relevant for us today.
Right.
It's a story about leadership. It's about the dangers of pride, listening to bad advice. But it's also a story about second chances,
Right.
about the power of humility and the potential for growth, even in the face of adversity.
Yeah, it really makes you think about all those moments in life where you had a choice to make.
Right.
The advice we take, the advice we ignore, it really can have this huge ripple effect, not just on our own lives,
Right.
but on everyone around us, you know?
It's a sobering thought, and it brings us back to that initial question we asked. What can we learn from Rehoboam? What wisdom can we take from this very old tale about ambition, about bad advice, a kingdom divided?
It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
But if there's one thing I'm taking away from it all, I think it's just the importance of finding people who will give you good advice, you know?
Yes.
Being willing to listen to those who maybe challenge us, even when it's hard.
And just as importantly, being willing to admit when we've messed up,
Yeah.
to acknowledge that we don't have all the answers.
Right.
Humility, it seems, is a timeless virtue, as important now as it was back then.
Absolutely. So the next time you're facing a tough decision, remember Rehoboam.
Yeah.
Remember that whole my little finger is bigger than my dad's waist thing.
Oh, yeah.
And choose good advice over ego every time, humility over hubris. Who knows? It might just save your own kingdom from crumbling.
Wise words.
Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and remember, sometimes the most valuable lessons are hidden in the most unexpected places.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.